What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Writer and the Fighter. I am your co-host, David Golden from OregonSports.com, joined by your other co-host, Jake, the half attack Smith, Bellator MMA, American Top Team Portland, and his bed, chilling tough. What's up, my man?
Hey, yeah, I am in my bed, and I am chilling, but I don't know about tough, but I am definitely chilling.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, "Hey, was Jake sitting in his bed when he was when you guys recorded the other day?" And I think, "Yeah, Jake's always sitting in his bed when we record." They're like, "What?" They're like, "Somehow that makes me like him even more."
Yeah, fuck around. If I ain't got to leave my bed, I ain't doing it. You know?
Yeah, that's a good move if you can pull it off. You need to get one of those, like, have you seen those couches that are just essentially beds? They're like just like giant. It's a giant couch. They're like you can sit on, do whatever, but it essentially sits up like a couch, even though it's still technically a bed.
Are you talking about like it looks like a big pit, kind of like it's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, they
full
have those. Yeah, they have those, or they have these ones that are like it's like it like turns this giant bed into a couch almost. It's like the fanciest version of a futon ever. I don't know. It looks like a fucking race car. It's crazy. It's too much for me. I feel like I'd never get out of my bed, and then I'd get bed sores. It'd be a whole thing. I don't want to be that guy. That's
I
gross.
used to have a futon back in the day. I thought it was the coolest shit ever.
Hell yeah, I've had a bunch of futons. Futons were the shit when you're like 13.
Yeah, it was a futon bunk bed. So the bottom one
I
turned
know
into
that one.
and then
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
cool.
yeah. My one of my best friends growing up had that. We'd chill out, sit down there, play video games, and then fold it back out, and then you got the top bunk. Yeah, it was legit. That was a good one.
Yeah, it's good times, good memories. You know, shout out to my pops for that. You know,
Yeah.
I think he something. I don't know how he got it, but
Nobody knows how anyone got a futon. No one's ever paid for one. Like at a
right.
store, it's never happened. Like they got traded for it. They saw it on Craigslist for free. Somebody's mom brought it over. Nobody's ever bought a futon in their whole life. I don't think it's ever happened.
They're just passed down from generation to generation.
For sure, for sure. Until finally, like the frame breaks or the mattress gets a rip in it, somebody just throws it out in the street with a sign that says "free," and then some other dumb sucker picks it up.
Over again. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. That's the futon lifestyle. Shit, man. Since we last talked, a lot of stuff has happened.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it got a little wild. And your boy Nick Mullins, he had one really good game and he's had one really bad game already.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have a bad start to that game because I was watching some of it and I was talking, I was talking to my fiance, and I was just like, yeah, this kid, I had said it a while ago. I was like, and he's pretty good. He's good, he's a backup. I was like, shit. I was hoping the Steelers would be able to snag him, And then
Yeah.
like right after I said that, that's when everything started to go downhill.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's like his first really, really bad performance, like, out of like 10
sucks.
other games. Yeah,
Exactly.
he's been a very good backup. If Garoppolo doesn't play this week, I think they'll still start him. So we'll see what happens. But
I think they'll start him
and
over season.
yeah, 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 for sure. But I mean, he's earned the opportunity. You know what I mean? But
All right.
your
Staying
boys are ready to
hold on.
football.
Hold on. All right. I know this is an MMA podcast, but at the same time, go fuck yourself. Listen, the fucking Titans fuck the Steelers over. Can we just talk about that real quick? Because
Yeah, for
now
sure.
more is coming out and they're saying, oh well, they might forfeit the game to fucking whoever they're supposed to play this week. While we had to use our bye when we had a very nice setup for our bye, being in the middle of the goddamn season, which is fucking ideal, and before we played the fucking Ravens. But no, fuck us, right? Ravens get a bye right before they play us. I don't know. It just seems like this is fucking shenanigans.
Hey man, I told you in the very beginning, I'll be shocked if we play this whole season out. So that's just like one of the first dominoes that have fallen. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
um, now you have Gilmore on the Patriots. He just popped hot for the Rona, and like they just had a game. Like, there's even him and Patrick Mahomes hugging each
yep.
other after the game. So, what happens when Pat Mahomes goes down? The NFL is gonna lose their minds because that's the NFL right there. That's the franchise for everybody. So
Yeah, he's the golden boy
see
on
what
that.
happens. Right. So, we'll see what happens. I'm hope like I'm trying to maintain some of my optimism when it comes to how the season will play out. I do think your team looks really good, so hopefully they can stay healthy without that middle of the season bye, and get in a position to keep running for it. I think they're I, I think they're probably. I mean, it's you can't say they're the best team in the AFC because you kind of have to
Yeah.
give that to the Chiefs, but I think they are definitely the second best team in the AFC.
Maybe, maybe. I mean, I will concede. I mean, I think it's I think the battle between the AFC's like number 2 seed will come down to week 12. I believe it's a Thanksgiving game. Come down to the Ravens
Yeah,
and the Steelers that week. They play each other week 7, week 8 now, and then they play in Pittsburgh week 12. So I think that's going to be the deciding game.
yeah, that makes sense. But I think you're going to be able to see that the Steelers will be able to devise a game plan that will slow
Oh,
Jackson down, and really that's all you have to do
yep.
because
Just
Roethlisberger is going to put points on the board. It's going to happen. So we'll see how it goes, but I
I'm
like
about
what you guys are working with. I'm a little jealous.
I'm about to get me some Mapletron fucking sweatshirts.
Bro, I almost bought you a Mapletron shirt the other day, but it was like $36. And I was like, I'm not
Yeah,
spending $36 on a shirt for fucking anybody.
please don't. Please
Yeah,
don't.
but I was like, oh, Mapletron shirt. I'm gonna send one of these to Jake. And then I looked it up. I was like, that's too much money. I can't do it. You want to hear a terrible saga? That here we'll end our NFL talk on this. You'll love and hate this at the same time. So I got this new 49er hat recently,
Yeah.
and they're trying to bring back this style of
Oh,
lettering, right?
yeah.
Like that old school saloon font is what they call it. And so they're trying to bring that back, and they put it on a hoodie after I got this hat, and I was like, oh, that's pretty fresh. I want to order the hoodie. They
Yeah.
have it in gray, they have it in red. Well, the website was kind of funky in that when you look at the gray one in the font I want, it's correct. But then when you click on the little red dot, the example is wrong. It's not that same hoodie with that same font. It's a different font. So I was
Huh.
like, man, I don't know if I want to risk ordering this one. And then I
Yeah.
noticed further down the page, the red one with the correct font had its own little thing. So I was like, well, fuck, I'll just click on that one and order it. So I order it. They sent me the wrong one. They sent me the one with the font I didn't want. And I was like, damn it. So I call because now Fanatics owns Lids. They own NFLshop.com, MLB. They own everything. They're fucking taking over. Like the FCC needs to watch out for them. Like there's some sort of monopoly. It's blowing my mind. And so I call because you can't get the website is completely useless. And I tell the people, hey, look at the website. You'll see what happened. And they were like, oh, you're right. That's exactly what happened. I said, which product number should I give you for my exchange? And they said, this one. It's like, great. Send me my sweatshirt, the proper one. They're like, no problem. So I have to go print a shipping label at my in-laws' house because who the fuck has a printer? Send
Right.
back my old hoodie, and I'm waiting for the other one. I'm like dying for it, waiting for it, checking my phone. Yesterday it was in Troutdale. They didn't make it here. This morning it's in Portland en route. The guy comes, rings the doorbell. I'm like, yes, got my sweatshirt. I open it up. It's the same fucking one. It's the wrong one again. And here I am thinking, okay, I got to call and I got to work my way up the ladder, right? I got to talk to someone, upstairs. So I call. They answer the phone, but the girl doesn't realize that she has answered the phone and has me just like loosey goosey for like 3 minutes, and I'm losing my fucking mind at this point. I'm freaking out. I'm just like, what is going on? Like this is killing me. I'm yelling in the phone, hello, like I'm yelling at this girl, and then she just hangs up on me. I was like,
No.
oh my god, this is killing me. So I call back, but what I didn't know was that NFL Shop has like a limited number of employees that work at their facility. And then if those phone lines are busy, they send you over to India. So I get this guy in India. He tells me that's what happened, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna hang up and call back and hope I get one of the people that's at the place. He goes, that's a good idea. I'm like, cool. I call back. I get a girl who's there, and I'm like, here's what happened. Can you help me? She goes, I can kind of help you. Like, what? Yeah, so I tell her the same thing about the sweatshirt. She like is really not trying to look. And I'm like, just look at it, please. So I walk her through the issue. She's like, oh, you're right. Just she goes, well, since you've already got something and returned it, if you return it again, we can't do an exchange for you. You just have to place a new order. That it doesn't, we can't exchange it over the, like, we can't do this right here. Like, why? She said, well, because there's a chance that it'll be the third time that it's wrong and they don't want to eat the shipping costs. And I'm like, you guys don't want to eat the $5 shipping cost that you give away all the time? Are you kidding me? So it's blowing my mind. Like, exactly. It was their fuck up. So in the end, she's like, I'll give you a 30% discount. I'll send it to your email, and I'll give you free shipping, blah, blah, blah. Just reorder it and just order the right one. Like, lady, how can I order the right one if your website doesn't know which one is the right fucking one? How am I the only person this has happened to? Blew my mind. And so in the end, I didn't buy a new hoodie because I didn't know. I don't know what's coming.
I would have told them to go fuck themselves. I would.
Dude,
Twitter.
The guy in India got an earful. But by the time I got to the lady, I was like, yelling at her is not going to solve my problem. So I tried to be as calm as I could because I was just like, please go through this with me. And I was like, is there someone else there that I can speak to? No, I'm sorry. We're the only ones. It's just me and one other girl. Like, okay, thanks. Motherfuckers.
For sure get their names and then like send it in an email or something because that just sounds like someone who was just being lazy. Like, they didn't want to do the fucking.
You think I didn't try to go to the website and see if I could email them? Guess what you can't do from the website? Really? They give you the phone number, but they won't give you an email address. I was like, motherfucker. I was losing my mind. It really put me in a tailspin. The whole rest of my day got completely wiped out because of that. It was sort of fucked up, but it happens.
I would have been fucking livid.
Yeah, I knew you'd appreciate that. So no new hoodie for me, but whatever. Yeah, exactly. At least I got the hat. I'm considering doing that. They put out the new Salute to Service hoodies, and they're pretty fresh. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I can commit to giving those dick bags more of my money. Infuriating. Whatever.
I'd take some time and maybe look somewhere else and see what you can find.
That you're in my brain, Jacob. You're in my brain. It's exactly what I'm trying to do over here. But so I just wanted to tell you, since the last time we recorded, I know it's been a minute. We had some stuff, and then I was in Montana, whatever. Anyway, the last time we recorded, you were mad at me because I was doing that thing where it's like, hey, if they don't fight for the UFC, they're not good enough, and and I was like, dude, for like 3 or 4 days, I was like, he's right. I really shouldn't do that. Like, I really, like, Jake's right. I definitely need to, I need to reconsider my position. So I watched like 6 Michael Chandler fights. And I think if you go back and you watch his striking as it's evolved, it has gotten a lot better than when he fought Eddie Alvarez. And I in my head, that's what I see. When I think of Michael Chandler, I just think of the 2 Alvarez fights, and so I don't really consider it. And in his and as he moved up, he certainly his striking got so much more polished. It's a lot better now than it was before, and I think it's good. I don't think he's going to win a fight against Gaethje in the striking specifically, but I think he has a better shot at it than I would have considered, and I'd have to look at the UFC rankings to decide where I would put him. But there is a chance that he falls in that top 7 range. Before I said he didn't crack the top 10, and then I said maybe he's in the top 10. I think he's probably right in there. He's probably right in the mix. But that's a tight group of people. The only thing that I saw, and these are 2 fights I didn't watch, but I just in recalling them, is that he lost those 2 fights to Will Brooks, who who beat him in the wrestling, and
Oh,
it makes me nervous that someone
forgot
else is going to be able to just wrestle the shit out of him. Because if Brooks can out wrestle you, Nurmi going to out wrestle you.
well, to be fair, right? Will Brooks, we gotta take in consideration the moment. Well, I guess this doesn't really help my argument, to be honest. The moment he went over to the UFC, things changed for him
Oh,
drastically.
for
So,
sure.
I mean, you know what I'm getting at. But,
I smile, wink, nod. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then again, it's the same thing with Chin. So I don't know. You have a point there, but again, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Styles do make fights. Will
Yeah.
Brooks, he's a lanky dude. Like
Yeah.
he's not like a short, 55 or like Chandler
No.
is.
Yeah, and he's got power like in his hips, like from his
Yeah.
butt down. He's a big guy. So
Yeah,
if he's gonna wrestle you, he's got all the power down there.
Yeah, you got a point. I did forget about that fight. So yeah,
Then
see that.
my only other concern, like after really thinking about it, was he's really fought a lot of the same dudes. Like he hasn't, like, he's had a lot of rematches, in his time in Bellator, and I don't think that that's like a benefit to him. I mean, I don't think it's a negative really, but like at the same time, like you got a couple wins over David Rickles, and like that's fine, but I don't think that's what's going to get you over the hump. But his striking looks way better now than it did when he fought Alvarez either time.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, he's got to fight somebody sooner or later. They better get him a fucking fight. I saw where Tony Ferguson is like basically said he would fight him, but the UFC didn't want to pay him up to fight him, and Tony Ferguson felt like no offense he says, like, no offense to this guy, but I didn't really know who he was. He's got 100,000 followers on Twitter, and to me that doesn't mean a lot. And I was like, oh, that's like, if Tony Ferguson's calling you out on it, like, that's a little rough. But at the same time, come on, man, you know who Michael Chandler is. Let's be real.
Yeah,
like don't be an idiot. But he did say, like, look, it doesn't benefit me a great deal to fight Michael Chandler. It benefits him a lot more to fight me, so the UFC should pay me more money. And obviously, you know how Dana White feels about paying people more money.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, so who would you put him under then? Because you said it was right there, top 7, top 5. Like, who is?
I'd have to look at the at the current rankings.
So okay, like someone like Dustin Poirier, how do you think he does?
I think he does fine, but I would pick Dustin to win that fight because I think Dustin's striking is way more. But he has such good wrestling. That's a tough one. That'd be a close fight. For sure.
I'd give it to Chandler because I think Chandler hits harder. Poirier has been known to not have the greatest fucking chin, and again, yeah, like you said, the wrestling. So, and I think and speed's a big one for me, man. And I don't know. Like when I look at Chandler, the way he fights, like, or the way he strikes now, like you were saying, it's improved. Look at how technical it is. Like when he throws that straight right, like it's just there's no fat on it, man. That with timing and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a Chandler homer because, like, I met Chandler at I was out in New York, and he just seemed like a prima donna. Like, I don't know. It's tiny. I don't know. I'm not a huge Chandler like man, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, I got to pull for you because I don't know. But I feel like in a way it kind of elevates my status being part of Bellator in a sense. But at the same time, it does fucking nothing for me. So I don't know why I care.
Yeah, I guess I would put him right there in the. Maybe I'd put him right in the 5 spot when I look at the current rankings, because the current rankings just blew my mind. There's a lot like after 4. There's a pretty. It's thick. Like if you're considering who if they were fighting each other like 6 through 10, they're good dudes. But then you look at Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, Dan Hooker are the top 4, and then number 5 is Conor McGregor, who's doesn't really fight. I would put Chandler right there in the 4 or 5 spot. Actually, I think they have him. I think they have him slotted correct. I think the idea of having him fight Tony Ferguson and having him fight or having him fight Dustin makes sense. I think Dustin is the more difficult fight for him.
Yeah.
Especially after watching, the way Gaethje worked Ferguson. I could see Tyson. I could see. I almost called him Tyson Chandler. I could see Michael Chandler just doing the exact same thing, because he's fast and he's got the hands to do it. So I think you're right. I think you're totally right about where he should be ranked, and I will eat crow and tell you that you were right, and I'm glad I went back and looked back at it because I think about the guys who are in the 6, 7, 8 spot, and I think he eats those dudes up. I think he destroys Charles Oliveira. I think he probably number 9 is Al Iaquinta. That might be a tough fight, but I think he beats Al Iaquinta. Kevin Lee is 10. He's definitely way better than Kevin Lee. The only guy in that range, the guy who's number 11, who's underrated, is Beneil Dariush. And you and I both talked about how we're fans of his, but he's on a win streak now, but it's you have to work your way up, and it takes a lot at 55 to do that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope Michael Chandler does get to fight Tony Ferguson. I think that'll be a fun fight to watch. Who knows?
I have no problems with Khabib, Gaethje, Ferguson, and Poirier being in front of him. I mean, until he does prove something. But guys like Dan Hooker, Conor McGregor, I think he's better than both those guys. So
I think he's definitely Conor McGregor. The thing to remember about Conor McGregor is he shows up more than we expect at times. So you never know what you're going to get with him. I think he's the wild card. So put him wherever you want him because he's your big money fighter. I don't think it matters what number he has by his name. I think Dan Hooker was looking like the real deal until that last fight, and he looked a little worse for the wear. So see what happens. But yeah,
he had a hard time with Paul Felder. Not taking anything from Paul Felder, but he's not he's not the cream of crop type guy.
No. I think the other reason Paul Felder is ranked so high is because of how big he is. He can bully these guys. He's huge for 55. So who knows?
The same nutritionist for weight cuts. So
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
So a couple of things happened also to move into more newsy stuff. Israel Adesanya went ahead and defended his title against Paulo Costa, which I mean wasn't a surprise to me. I can't imagine it was a surprise to you.
You know what? Honestly, I fucked up on that one because in my mind I disregarded Izzy's speed and precision striking. For some reason in my mind I was just thinking of the Paulo that fought that Yoel,
Uh-huh.
The way he was just able to eat those shots, those power shots. I was like, he's just so big. I think he's gonna just come forward and he's gonna end up grabbing at Izzy. And so I was completely wrong on that one. But Izzy's legit. I mean, we've been saying it from the get go. He's back in the day when barely anyone knew who he was. We've been big pro Izzy fans from the get. So I'm okay with eating pro on that one. I supposedly lost my buddy $100. Even though that he didn't tell me he was betting. He just asked me who I thought was going to win. I said,
yeah.
And also, a lot of my decision was based on his camp because that's I've talked to you about it. He trains, with the Patricky Pitbull brothers and I kind of wanted to. I've been wanting to go out to that camp and train with those guys. So
yeah, well, don't you have an in there now? Doesn't what's his name? Who used to train at your gym train there now? I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
I know who you're thinking of. No, it's not Abdul, right?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, no. He trains over at Benson's gym. Different gyms. Different.
Okay.
Areas.
Gotcha.
Same
I thought it was the same spot. Huh?
Same state, Arizona, but just not
Yeah.
different places.
Drats. I thought you had the
Yeah, I don't really like that. So
Yeah. This is this funny story about that guy.
oh, dude, fight me.
Huh?
She goes, what if Abdul's listening? I said, what is he gonna do? Fight me? Like what? Like he's not there.
Yeah, whatever. This is kind of
Shit.
a funny story. Uh, I was working at a collections agency for a little while,
Oh, let me
and
guess. Abdul owed you money, he didn't pay?
no, but
Oh,
his girl popped up in one of my searches where they were like, "This person owes money. Try to garnish their wages," and
she did.
I I can't say that I purposely, allegedly may have just not looked into that one. You know,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, could have happened. Maybe it didn't happen. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go. I'll talk to you off air about some shit. Yeah. She's
That's okay.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways,
I thought it was funny, but yeah,
the
man,
black.
I thought, huh?
Oh, sorry. You're still talking about Izzy. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I expected Adesanya to win that fight. I just didn't know he would be that dominant.
Yeah.
I thought for sure he'd win. I didn't see him just like outclassing him like that. But it's it shows you it shows you kind of like you always say, there's levels to this game. It shows you that he's just like a cut above, and it kind of makes me think about that Yoel fight, where if Yoel had tried to fight him the way that Paulo did, it would have been the same kind of thing that he would have had to deal with. So I mean, Yoel in some sense kind of fought a smarter fight, even though people complained that it was boring. Hey,
Izzy's
he's the champ. He's not supposed to go out there and lose, so
yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah, he's a counter striker, and he's very very accurate with the strikes, and he's just one of those dudes, man. New Zealand, that area right now, they're coming out with some nasty guys.
Yep, for sure, for sure. That was a fun fight. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
I believe we talked about the Dom Reyes and Blachowicz fight, and how I was saying, like, I felt like Dom Reyes was kind of like believing in his own little hype a little bit too much, and
Yeah,
I just felt like he was gonna lose that fight.
yeah,
Fucking money, I knew it. I called it.
yeah. And not only did he lose the fight, he didn't look good at all.
No,
He really didn't. He didn't show up for that one. I wonder if he just thought, like, I got this one in the bag, or if something was going on, like maybe he had a nagging injury. I don't know, but I haven't heard anything about that. But it is what it is. Did you see what DC said about this after this fight?
yeah, yeah, and then
So
homeboy came at DC is like, show your fat ass and yada yada yada. And DC's like, nah, man, don't worry about me. I'm retired. You're good.
yeah,
And he's like, oh well, I guess this internet war is over.
yeah,
DC's officially done. And I respect that because
yeah,
unlike Don, vacates the belt. Now he's hemming and hawing about coming back. And hey, man, just do. Can you just stand by something you say for once?
yeah, yeah. No, he changed his mind. He's just he's got like that politician swagger where like he says the opposite of what he said 2 days ago, and
Yeah,
just like says it as if like that's the only thing he's ever believed in, and you're like, huh,
yeah.
what? But whatever. I just think it was funny. DC kind of implied that that Jon Jones didn't want to fight Reyes, and then when Reyes lost, he felt like, okay, maybe Blachowicz
Which
is
I
a
think
more
is fair.
winnable fight.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
a fair point.
yeah, for sure. But I mean, I feel like if you vacated the belt, the UFC should. I mean, the UFC can't tell him what to do. They can't force him to do anything. But like, come on, man, have at least one fight at heavyweight. Give the people what they were hoping to see. I
Well,
it'll be interesting. It does say a lot about the power of Blachowicz, though. Like it kind
yeah.
of you see that he probably hits way harder than Jon Jones. Like Jon Jones
Oh,
is, you know,
John doesn't have knockout. He doesn't have one punch knockout power.
mm-mm. And so I would. I would be more comfortable betting on him in a Jones fight just because there's a chance he could knock him out. But I mean, unlikely, but it could happen. So maybe Jones goes down and suffers a loss on a stupid decision. That would be exciting. I think people would want to see that. That would kind of make me
I just
giggle.
I just don't know much about his grappling, and that's
Yeah,
I think the biggest thing with John. Like I think that's his biggest attribute, to be honest. Because
yeah,
he's been shown. It's man,
it's
it's tough.
underutilized.
Every fight, it's like you can obviously, at least I can see John's age kind of catching up a little bit.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he's still young, but like even on his takedowns that he was going against Dom, they were it was almost like half initiated. Like it wasn't like a real shot. It was just like, okay, I got you against the cage. I'm trying to, it wasn't like he used to. Like if you go back to some of his younger stuff, like I mean, he had crazy throws he was doing.
yep.
I don't know, man. Maybe he's got some shitty hips too now.
Maybe. I mean, I think part of it could be simply that when he first came in and he was throwing people around, I'd say his first 3 or 4 fights, like the only one that he didn't was when he knocked out what's his name? The dude who went to who's over in Ryzen now. He's got all the Egyptian tattoos, heavyweight guy, Brandon Vera, thank you. And because obviously he just busted his eye open. But
Yeah,
like in his earlier fights, I think people weren't quite as invested in game planning for him as they would be, where he is now. And so maybe they're like they're ready for for his shot, or for how he tries to get his entry on his takedown. Maybe they've just seen it enough at this point that they're training that more heavily in a camp. I mean, it could be part of it, but you're right in that he definitely is starting to show his age. I think if he wanted to move up to heavyweight, smart to do it before you're too old, because at this point you're a spring chicken in the heavyweight division. You're a baby, because what is he, like 32?
I think
Like,
so. I'm gonna say like 31, 32, round in the
yeah,
early 30s.
yeah. So, I mean, I think the average age of the top 10 in the heavyweight division for the UFC has got to be like 36,
Yeah,
37.
yeah.
I mean, there's dudes fighting in their 40s up there. Come on, Alexei Oleinik's in there, and he's what, like 53?
Shit, man. The power's the last thing that leaves you, and that's all you really needed for a heavyweight.
Yeah, yeah. I guess so. I guess so.
I just want
But
to see what he looks like at heavyweight. Like I want to see what, because obviously he's going to put himself through an actual, like, I'm gonna put on size. I'm gonna do, I think he's gonna try and do it right. Whereas like Alexander Gustafsson, I don't think he did it right. I think he's just like, oh, I'm just not gonna cut weight.
yep,
You know?
yep. That's exactly right. I think you're exactly right. You can do that at the lower weight classes. We've seen that time and time again, where the lighter guy who changes to that next, or the moves up to that next weight class and takes out the champ, and you're like, huh? How did this happen? Well, when you're talking about two dudes who naturally probably are 5 pounds apart, but one guy fights 10 pounds lower than the other, like it's totally different ball game. When you're talking about heavyweight, if you're not walking where you're comfortable, like you could be in trouble. I don't know. I think about Cain Velasquez, and he never really bothered to try to do that 205 thing. He felt
Yeah.
like 225 was like an optimal weight for him, and he had that power, so it made sense. But then I think about DC and how he did well at heavyweight, uh, even though he may not have that one punch knockout power either. Like, he still did well at heavyweight, so it's kind of like two sides to
Well,
the coin. It could work out,
because
might not, but
because what he lacked in power, he made up in speed.
that's true. He was
I
very
will
fast.
forever stand by this until the day I die. Speed beats power every time. I
Yeah,
don't care how hard you can hit. If you can't hit me, it doesn't matter.
right. Speed and precision. Like,
Oh,
if if
bro just
if
farted
you're
on my foot. Oh, you
your dog
dick.
farted on your foot,
Yeah, dude. Fucking
terrible,
toot. Fucking pooted on me twice.
gross.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit.
Nope, no.
He did.
My kid thinks farts are hilarious.
As he should.
Like
They are hilarious when they're not on your foot.
it just shows you though that like even like a baby, like a 1 year old, will understand that farts are funny. Like you don't have to train them. Yeah, like
If you say,
I'll get up to take a leak, and I'll be in the bathroom. I'll be peeing, and then I'll I'll rip a fart, and he'll go, toot, dada. It's pretty funny. Like,
that's
or
great.
you think he's asleep in his crib, and you let one go, and then he'll be like, toot. He thinks it's hilarious. Pretty
That's awesome.
funny. Kids crack me up. But
Yeah.
anyway, um, well, we have a Bellator card coming up this weekend, as well as a UFC card.
Yeah.
Where we have
I'll be
Bellator
honest.
going to Paris. Kind of exciting.
Yeah, but that comes with a bunch of fucking European names that I don't know half the card. I only know maybe the like two or three people from the main card.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a card that the people are gonna go watching for name value. That's for sure. I mean the most well known fighter on the card is Michael Venom Page, and you and I talked about this a little bit beforehand. They're throwing a kid in there who has some hype, but is 8-0, and he doesn't have 10 fights, and Michael Page has 10 fights on him. He has 18 fights, and he's one of these guys that I'm not saying Bellator is doing the matchmaker game where they want Michael Page to look good, but sometimes it feels like that. I can't speak for their matchmakers, but makes me a little nervous for this kid. But you pointed out that Bellator is known for doing this with prospects. They feel like they can build up if they think they have the ability. They're just going to throw them out there to see what they've got. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look at I mean, shit, dude. If we just go through the people that they've offered me when I was hurt, they wanted to fight Brandon Gertz, has over 30 fights. They wanted me to fight, Goichi Yamamuchi. He has, 20 plus fights. Sayada Wad. They just offered me Sayada Wad. He has over 20 something fights. And now, since I wasn't able to do it, Mandel Nalo is stepping in and he's fighting Sayada Wad. And he only has, I think, 8 fights. And I have
yeah,
10 or 11 pro fights. So,
yeah,
it's not too uncommon, I guess. Like, I mean, I hear your point. Like, it's kind of one of those, like, well, you know. But
yeah,
to be fair, also with MVP, like, who's really trying to step up and fight him? I mean, they threw David
yeah,
Rickles at him. I honestly thought Rickles was at least going to give him a fight, and then,
yeah,
Rickles is tough, and he made Rickles quit. And Rickles has, a shit ton of fights.
yeah. That's true.
Then he fought Cyborg.
That's true.
Cyborg got a lot of fights. He's fought Lima, and Lima did knock him out, but fought Paul Day. I mean, he's fought some guys. It's just
Yeah,
everyone wants to see him fight.
yeah.
It's
It's
tough.
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 You
It's tough to convince someone, hey, go fight this guy, and yeah, you might be a fucking highlight reel knockout. You might be,
yeah.
but then again, you might not.
Yeah, yeah.
Tough.
You could be the guy that figures out how to get him down and keep him down. That could be you, right? So
Yeah.
that certainly is appealing, I'm sure. And if you go back to a little bit what we talked about with Michael Chandler, to bring it back around, is that the you're fighting in Bellator in a division that may not have a ton of guys at the top that have that name value. So you're gonna have recycled names on your
Yep.
on your record, and maybe he's not looking for that, and maybe they're not looking to do that with him. So who knows? um
Yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, the card, I find that those cards where there's a bunch of dudes you don't know always end up being the card that's really good for whatever reason. It seems so like suspect under the radar, and the next thing you know, it's a really exciting card. I try to not. Huh?
Because everyone's trying to make a name. Like you have
Yeah,
everyone a bunch of nobodies. Everyone's going to scrap, like fucking crazy. Where you get a bunch of name guys, and those are usually the boring fights because everyone's trying to conserve their image.
yeah, yeah, that's true. They want to get the record where it needs to be. They want to make sure they look like the next person in line, and that makes a bit of sense. The UFC has a card this weekend, and I just want your opinion on the main event. I'm gonna guess you haven't watched a ton of Cody Sandhagen, but he's fighting Marlon Moraes in his return bout after his loss. Um, I'm just curious of your thoughts on it, or how you feel about Sandhagen.
He sounds super familiar. I have to see an image of him because
All right.
I feel like I've seen him fight. I can't remember who he's fought.
He was one of the guys when there was that UFC card not too long ago, and I was telling you and I was telling you and Jordan how excited I was about it, and I was listing off fights. He was one of the guys on that card that I was excited about, and he got a big win. He kind of reminds me of a uh, I don't he's not exactly the same, so I don't mean this literally, but he reminds me of like a younger Dominic Cruz. Kind of. He's got that speed. He bounces around. He's got a little bit of power. He can definitely end a fight early, but he's one of those dudes that'll get fight of the night a lot. In his career, I think if he keeps with this style, I just he's still young in his career. I think he's like 12-1, and you're going up against the guy coming off a loss who doesn't lose a lot of fights. Makes me nervous for Mr. Sandhagen, but I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. And I think it's a free one. So, I'm excited for any time they give me fights for free.
Yeah, I like watching Marlon fight. He's fun. But it's kind of like it was like last fight. It kind of exposed something in him. It seems
Totally.
Kind of like he's definitely a front runner, right? And then once it seemed to kind of be a little bit of a challenge, things seem to change a little bit.
Yeah,
I wonder where he's at mentally. It's been a little while.
Yeah, I hope he's addressed the issues he had, but I think the only real way to address them is probably to move up a weight class. Like, that dude's got to be cutting so much weight. He is so big, like he's a big guy. I mean, even in there against the King of Cringe, he looked really big. So I don't know. Makes me curious, huh?
Sorry. My dog just attacked me.
Man, you're having dog issues.
He's here. He's with me now in my lap.
What's up, bro?
That's what he does, man. He wants my attention, he gets it.
Yeah, good dog.
To those podcasters listening, I apologize, but bro comes first.
That's okay. As it turns out, we're about at our limit here. I know you have a hard out. You need to get to something, but it was good getting back to it. Hopefully, we can get together here pretty quick, and we'll have some discussions next week about the fights that happened, about the football that was played, and hopefully your dog isn't coughing stuff up on your bed, farting on your feet, and wanting your attention.
I don't even know what the fuck just happened the last 10 minutes. Like, shit,
Yeah. Well, at least he doesn't have diarrhea or something terrible,
Yeah, not yet. We'll see. Probably.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Well, until next time, make sure you guys hit up Jake on social media. He's at Uber Smitty on all social media. I'm at David Golden MMA on Twitter, and we'll get back with you soon.
All right, guys. Later.